U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen's historic meeting with Abrego Garcia in El Salvador. Breaking news! U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen just met with Abrego Garcia in El Salvador. What does this mean for international relations? This high-profile meeting took place in San Salvador, marking a pivotal moment in U.S. El Salvador diplomacy. Who is Abrego Garcia? A key political figure in El Salvador, known for his influence in Central American affairs. Senator Van Hollen, a veteran Democrat, has been actively involved in foreign policy initiatives. The closed-door discussions reportedly focused on migration, security, and economic cooperation. This meeting comes at a crucial time, as both nations address challenges at their shared border. Experts suggest this could lead to new bilateral agreements in the coming months. The visit included a tour of local development projects funded by U.S. aid. Public reactions have been mixed, with some praising the diplomacy, while others demand more action. What's next? Both leaders pledged continued dialogue, with follow-up meetings already planned. This meeting could reshape U.S. policy in Central America. Stay tuned for updates! The shocking evidence linking Kilmar Abrego Garcia to MS-13. A Chicago Bulls hat and a hoodie. A Chicago Bulls hat and a hoodie. Could these be the only pieces of evidence linking Kilmar Abrego Garcia to MS-13? Let's dive into this shocking case. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was accused of being part of MS-13, but the evidence seems flimsy at best. How strong is the case against him? The prosecution claims Garcia's Chicago Bulls hat and hoodie are gang symbols. But is this enough to prove his involvement? Experts weigh in. How common is it for gangs like MS-13 to use clothing as identifiers? The answers might surprise you. Garcia's defense argues this is a case of profiling. Could he be a victim of mistaken identity? We look at past cases where clothing was used as evidence. Were these convictions solid or based on bias? The implications are huge. If clothing alone can link someone to a gang, where does it end? What's next for Garcia? With the trial ongoing, the world is watching this controversial case. Is this justice or a miscarriage of it? The debate over Garcia's case raises serious questions. Stay tuned as we follow this story. Will the evidence hold up, or will Garcia walk free? Harvard under fire. Trump administration accuses university of hiding foreign donations. The Trump administration has accused Harvard of failing to report massive foreign donations. What does this mean for the university? The New York Times reports that Harvard allegedly didn't disclose millions in foreign funding. This could be a major violation. Federal law requires universities to report foreign gifts over $250,000. But Harvard may have skipped this for years. The Trump administration claims this lack of transparency could pose national security risks. Are foreign powers influencing Harvard? Harvard isn't alone. Other elite schools have faced similar accusations about foreign funding in recent years. Legal experts say this could lead to serious consequences, including loss of federal funding for Harvard. Harvard has declined to comment on specific allegations, but says they comply with all reporting requirements. This scandal comes as U.S.-China tensions rise over academic collaborations and technology transfers. Some argue these rules protect national interests, while others see them as limiting academic freedom. What's next? Investigations could take months, but the impact on Harvard's reputation may be immediate. This case could set a precedent for how strictly foreign donation rules are enforced at universities nationwide. Stay tuned as this developing story could reshape how American universities handle foreign money. Trump's shocking move, abandoning Ukraine peace talks soon. Breaking news. Marco Rubio warns Trump may walk away from Ukraine peace talks within days. What does this mean for global stability? Rubio's warning comes as tensions escalate between the U.S. and Russia over Ukraine's future. Sources say Trump is frustrated with stalled negotiations and may pull out entirely. This potential move could leave Ukraine vulnerable as Russia continues its military buildup. Experts warn abandoning talks now could embolden Putin and destabilize Europe. The White House hasn't confirmed, but insiders say a decision could come as early as next week. Some Republicans support Trump's tough stance, while Democrats call it reckless. Ukraine's president has urgently requested continued U.S. support in peace negotiations. If talks collapse, we could see renewed fighting and a humanitarian crisis. The world watches anxiously as this critical diplomatic moment unfolds. What do you think? Should the U.S. stay at the negotiating table? Comment below. U.S. prepares military deportation flight under Alien Enemies Act. What we know. Breaking news. The U.S. is planning a military deportation flight under the rarely used Alien Enemies Act. Here's what we know so far. The Alien Enemies Act dates back to 1798, allowing the government to detain or deport nationals of hostile countries during wartime. Sources say this flight could target individuals deemed threats under this law, but details remain classified. Legal experts debate the act's relevance today. Some call it outdated, while others argue it's a necessary tool for national security. Critics warn this move could set a dangerous precedent for civil liberties, especially without transparency. The White House hasn't confirmed specifics, but insists all actions are within legal boundaries. Who could be on this flight? Speculation includes individuals accused of espionage or ties to adversarial governments. Human rights groups are demanding oversight, fearing due process violations under this secretive operation. This isn't the first time the act has been used. It was invoked during WWI to detain Axis nationals. Could this escalate tensions with other nations? Diplomatic fallout is a real possibility. We'll continue tracking this story. Stay tuned for updates, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Florida State University shooting. What happened and what you need to know. Tragedy struck Florida State University as a shooting unfolded on campus. Here's what we know so far. The incident occurred late Friday evening, sending students and faculty into lockdown. Police responded swiftly, securing the area and apprehending the suspect within hours. Authorities confirmed multiple injuries, with some victims rushed to nearby hospitals. The motive behind the shooting remains unclear as investigators piece together the events. University officials canceled classes and offered counseling for traumatized students. This incident reignites the national debate on gun control and campus safety. Florida State joins a growing list of schools affected by gun violence. How can we prevent this? Survivors share harrowing stories of hiding and escaping during the chaos. Local leaders vow to take action, but critics demand more than just words. Meanwhile, students and families are left grappling with fear and grief. Stay tuned for updates as this story develops. Our thoughts are with the FSU community. Wisconsin Supreme Court backs governor's controversial 400-year veto. What happens next? In a landmark ruling, the Wisconsin Supreme Court has upheld the governor's unprecedented 400-year veto. Let's break it down. The dispute began when Governor Tony Evers used a partial veto to extend a tax provision for 400 years. Republicans cried foul, calling it an abuse of power. They argued no veto should last centuries. But the court ruled 4-3 that the veto was technically legal under Wisconsin's unique veto powers. Wisconsin governors have some of the strongest veto powers in America, dating back to 1930. This isn't the first creative veto. Past governors have deleted words to create new laws. The 400-year veto affects a minor tax provision, but sets a major precedent for future vetoes. Legal experts are divided. Some praise the decision, while others warn of unchecked executive power. Republicans may push for a constitutional amendment to limit veto powers after this ruling. For now, Wisconsin's governors retain these sweeping powers. Could this case reach the U.S. Supreme Court? This ruling ensures Wisconsin's unique veto authority remains intact for future governors of both parties. What do you think? Should governors have this much veto power? Drop your thoughts below!